Are you getting value from generative AI, and how should you implement it? Those are some of the questions that I get all the time. And if you're following me, you know I spend a lot of time with customers who are deploying enterprise generative AI at scale. And I'm focused on one question: how are they actually achieving value with this technology? So in this week's Reddit AMA, the link is down below here so you can participate. I'm going to tackle some of the most burning questions you might have. There's already a lot of people engaging in there, so I really want to invite you to join the hundreds of people that have contributed, participated. You can, of course, submit your own questions. You can also provide your perspective. That'd be fun to participate. Let's take some examples of questions that I've already gotten. JT asks, where do you see AI in next 10 years? 𝗲𝗲 wants to know, outside of coding, where will AI actually save time and money? And others are also digging into topics like accountability and costs. All of those are critical questions. We're going to address them next week. If you want the full list, like I said, link down below. I'm going to get us started right now and tackle a few, but if you want the full list, simply follow that link. First, what are the big themes? What are people worried about? Substance over hype. There is certainly a lot of hype here. We want to know what is real, what is shiny. Agents across platforms. How should you orchestrate them at scale? That's going to be something I'm going to talk about as well. And of course, issues around attribution and responsibility. That's a big deal. So you can comment on Reddit. You can comment down here. You can hang out with me here a little bit more as we tackle a few of these answers. By the way, you know that there's more than just Reddit. You all have access to my Substack blog for free, and I'm going to put the link down here. There's a lot of great conversations on that blog, and you can also access it up here by clicking on my LinkedIn blog link. All right, the first question: where do I see AI in the next 10 years? You know, Bill Gates, who I learned a lot from my time at Microsoft, used to say, we tend to overestimate innovation in the short term, and we tend to underestimate in the long term. And that's exactly how I think about AI, just like the internet or the cloud. It's truly transformative, but the real impact really happens over a decade. For context, you know, it took 10 years for 70 to 75% of companies to adopt the internet. So now with AI, I think the principle of value creation won't come from automating everything. What we're learning with customers is that it's really the blend of deterministic and probabilistic workflows, the way agentic systems combine rules with creativity. Again, I wrote a long blog on that if you want to go deeper. It is called It's Not Just About the Agents, What Generative AI Playbooks Get Wrong. And in there, I refer to two concepts. The first one is this idea of agent plus, and the other one is agent minus. And the idea is pretty straightforward. Agent plus refers to the fact that building agents is one thing, it's important, but it's not sufficient, because orchestrating agents is where the difficulty, the next barrier is going to be as you go in production. Agent minus, just like I said, replacing everything with agents might actually not be the solution for your organization. You have processes today that work at your company. Some combine with your data and your algorithms. They are actually the essence of your differentiation. So you'll want to augment them with agents, not necessarily replace them. And for some organizations, you know, we're noticing that they have a 30% probabilistic to 70% deterministic mix. So you want to be careful here and think that agentic is not the reason to jettison all the work you've done in the past. Similarly, agentifying everything might not also make sense for your organization. So this is the opportunity also for you to look at your processes, decide what should be automated with agentic, what process should be kept the same, and what process should be eliminated. All right, let's take another question. Governance and cost. Everybody's asking about this. It is a huge challenge, and it's going to take a while to figure it out, because this is an issue that becomes acute, particularly in production. So with so few companies being in production today at scale, a lot still needs to be figured out. So clearly transparency around training data, i.e. what you can access, what you can share, what you shouldn't, is important. Enterprises are in the middle of figuring this out. Attribution follows the same pattern. If you don't know what you can use with transparency, ethically and legally, how can you attribute content or an output to something specific? So that's a big issue. My advice here is that you bake that in early in the process, because you will regret it if you wait. It was going to cost you more to fix it later. And then finally, since we're talking about costs, inference, performance, and costs is something you're going to have to put a plan around. My observation is that you should have a dual model strategy, small models, large models. I've also learned from companies that win that they don't tie their strategy to one provider. You're going to want a horizontal independent strategy, independent from your cloud, independent from your application. Your agentic application layer should be horizontally integrated, not vertically locked. I think that over time, we'll need systems that can decide which model, which cloud, which application to use based on cost, performance, and infrastructure need. It can do it dynamically, and that's why horizontal strategy and integration makes sense. It also will protect you from the lock-in. So clearly, when you look 10 years out, it's evolution, not revolution. All right, that's it from me. For now, you can access all of this in my blog. And of course, I hope I will see you on my Reddit. Like I said, you just click on the link down below. I can't wait to see what you're going to contribute and what you're going to ask. See you next week.